Manchester United is linked with several Everton players. Two of them we already knew about. One, we have already made a bid for them. But the third one, a striker, guys, is a big no. We should just walk away from this one. I do hope this is not a true rumor. Listen, apparently, Manchester United is linked with a move for Dominic Nathaniel Calvert-Lewin from Everton. This striker, 27-year-old guy who has been at Everton for so long, since like 2016, but still a mediocre player if you ask me. My name is Webb. Like, share, subscribe. It's all Manchester United news today. You can call it a news wrap, but it will mostly focus on Everton and how much they are willing to rip us off. Now listen, with Jarrad Branthwaite's first bid of £35 million plus about 7 million in add-ons was rejected by the Toffees, that is for Manchester United. Now, guess what? Reports are coming out now saying that Manchester United are contemplating going back with bid number 2, which sounds crazy for me. That apparently United are looking at using 2 players and cash. That is Aaron Wan-Bissaka and Victor Lindelof, then add cash to Everton to get Jarrad Branthwaite. Now, without a shadow of a doubt, we seem to be fascinated, which I don't get what the fascination with Branthwaite is, but we love the player, I get it, but listen, we should be willing to only pay what is reasonable. And I like the way Ineos have been clear, they won't be ripped off. This Branthwaite is not a £40 million player. 35 million plus 7 in add-ons that they turned down was already way too much. For some reason, apparently, Everton are clinging a lot on how much Man United paid Leicester City for Harry Maguire, the 8 million quid we paid, you recall. So they are saying that if Man United would pay all that money for Harry Maguire, who later on went on to become what he became later on, and I'm thinking, okay, this is madness. I think this is them mixing up things. For starters, Harry Maguire was a top baller at the time. He was a top performer at the time when Harry Maguire was signed from Leicester City by Man United. It may not have turned out perfectly well, but he had some good games, good performances. In fact, it is being said now, according to other reports that came through, that should Harry Maguire and Scott McTominay still be at Manchester United in September, they are going to trigger their one-year contract extensions, those clauses in their contracts. So, but Maguire even became captain under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer because he had shown, traits of a good player. He went for about 13 games without conceding a goal. Clean sheets a record with him. When he got injured, got out of the team, we started conceding. Yes, it went down and all bad for him, but Maguire wasn't always a bad player. He wouldn't be an important player for England. He just a bad season befell on him, and it was so terrible, unfortunately. But you cannot compare Harry Maguire to Jarrad Branthwaite. So for me, I think those are clear signs of a club that is trying everything to rip you off. They will get any excuse to overprice you, and if you're naive, you go for it. Now, for me, that's completely wrong. Now, letting go of Lindelof and Wan-Bissaka is not an issue, but how we let go of them? Of course, they are not highly valued players. I think the two of them we could get at most maybe £20 million from both of them, or euros even from both of them. But still, giving both of them away and adding cash for Jarrad Branthwaite for me is a no deal. Just walk away from that one. Now, I know we've got this fascination with another striker, and it should be a logical fascination because we certainly need another striker. And of course, we've made bids for Zirkzee. We are advancing, and I'm certain we are going to sign Zirkzee. But I think what I like is the fact that it seems Man United are willing to bring in a third striker who is older and more experienced. I think they have seen the need for an older, more experienced striker. And they're talking about several, but the guys who would make sense for Manchester United are dropping off. For example, Serhou Guirassy, here we go with Borussia Dortmund. It has been confirmed that Serhou Guirassy is leaving VfB Stuttgart and is joining Borussia Dortmund. He has given the green light for the deal to go through. So we've missed out. Dortmund are going to pay his €70 million buyout clause. And you know what will happen? After one season of him scoring goals for fun, other clubs in the Premier League or elsewhere will come and pay 3 times more for him. Trust him, it's going to happen. You will see. Yet he has been there, available and cheap, but they are not talking about him. They are pretending about him. But after he shines at Borussia Dortmund, trust you me, in the next summer, Serhou Guirassy will be one of the most expensive signings. I'll tell you this, I can guarantee you. And never mind him being in the evening of his age for an outfield player. He will still play one season at Dortmund and he will be a 45 or 40 million pounds player. But Dortmund will make proper profit on him. But he's going to Dortmund. Now, United now, on the other side, are being linked with Calvert-Lewin, and I'm thinking, how in the world did we get here? Calvert-Lewin is not a man, never mind his experience. He's 27, he would be more experienced than Rasmus Højlund and Joshua Zirkzee, but I mean, he's not even good enough to be a proper starter for Everton. How do you then tell me he's that important a player that he can even join Man? His value, imagine, Everton are pricing him at about 40 million pounds, 40 million quid. We pay that for him? I think for me that wouldn't make sense at all. For me, that's a no-go. It's a no-go deal for me. It's a close, just close that door on him. So I think Man United, yes, we are beginning to get into the mood to make deals, but we've got to be making proper deals. We are expected to take back bid number 2 for Ugarte. Manuel Ugarte, that makes sense. You would listen because Ugarte may not have shown exceedingly well at PSG, but he is still a top baller. I still rate him highly as a player who will join Man United and add value. All these other players that we are seeing, for me, do not make sense, do not make any slight bit of sense for me when it comes to the kind of deals, especially that we are trying to structure around them. But that's a bit of an update. Now, also to tell you about, I told you yesterday that the Erik ten Hag deal is going on. The talks are going on for another contract, and the talks are moving quite well. And it is expected that he will be signing that, putting pen to that paper very soon. He will be putting that pen to that paper soon. There is also a talk of Amrabat that Ineos are now reviewing certain players, and Amrabat might be a decision, a concrete decision might be made very soon on whether or not Amrabat will leave or stay. I think in a couple of weeks we should be able to know. My thinking is Amrabat should be staying, most likely with Erik ten Hag staying. Chances are, and also the fact that we may not have a lot of money to spend and the depth we want to create, I think chances are Sofyan Amrabat will stay. I can see people calling for his stay and stuff, but I think chances are high that Amrabat will stay behind at Manchester United. Otherwise, Feyenoord should be mounting the pressure to try and get, of course, other clubs that will certainly be interested in him to try and sign him. So that's where we are. Manchester United, several speculations going on. But what we know is that very soon we are going to be taking a second bid for a player. I hope it's Ugarte. That makes sense. But when it comes to Branthwaite, Ineos need to stick to their guns and say we are not being ripped off. We are not allowing this. Otherwise, the figures they're talking about are insane, for lack of a better word, fam. They are insane. Double for 2 players and cash for Branthwaite, whereas the player wants us. That I think cannot be a way of cornering us into overspending on a player who is not really that good, because not even in the Euros really. My name is Webb. Like, share, and subscribe. This is Manchester United Talk. I will be back later with more.